Hey everybody, it's John Hope Bryant. I'm live here from beautiful Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, which includes Operation Hope South Africa. And I'm chairman and founder and CEO of Bryant Group Ventures. I'm also author of the best-selling books, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Rebuilding the Path of the Middle Class, The Solution for the 100%, and Love Leadership, the new way to lead in a fear-based world, which is most appropriate for this video. As viewers sign on, by the way, we've already got over 700,000 views for this series in about a month, so thank you for your support and tell your friends about it. It's sort of an open source university for the empowerment of all. I do it at no cost, and I'm going to try to do it every day when I'm not in meetings and I'm not in airports. When you sign on, you can plug your questions down below. I will answer them in real time. I do these myself. There's no rehearsal. I'm just talking to you direct from my heart and my soul and giving you the benefit of what I've learned after 50 years on this planet, trying to make the world a better place, trying not to get in my own way. So the topic for today is very powerful because we're talking about dreaming through the pain. We're talking about rainbows after storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. Dreaming and achieving through the pain. So let's get into this. And I see Trip has joined in, and others are joining in. Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm wearing this beautiful shirt. If you know South Africa, you know where this shirt comes from. This is Mandela, Madiba, they call him here in his tribal name. This is his beautiful design shirt, or shirt design after the shirts he wore every day in his struggle for freedom here in South Africa. It was given to me as a gift from Carolyn Young, the wife of Ambassador Andrew Young, and one of my really soul sisters, a really beautiful woman, during our trip here in South Africa. It's gorgeous, and I'm honored to wear it. I normally wear Mandela's prison number on my wrist. You would know that if you see the numbers on my wrist on a bracelet. That's what they are. So Mandela was an attorney. Really brilliant mind who used to wear a suit every day and try to use a structure to change this country. That didn't work so well. He became angry and understandably so, ended up in prison for 27 years. 27 years. Most of us can handle 27 months. We lose our minds in 27 days. He was there for 27 years and really made it Mandela University. To the point where the prison guards began to learn from him, respect him, admire him, and he turned this place, he turned a negative into a positive. He flipped all the paradigms of what being in prison or jail was all about, and really left. They were begging him to leave prison at the end, and he refused to leave. He certainly refused to leave without his comrades, and refused to leave without his dignity in place. And of course, we all know the story that he became president of the country and made his jailer his vice president. Essentially, the president of the country became his vice president. What a wonderful story, but it's true, right? Has the added benefit of being true. But let me be something more practical and close to home. A friend of mine here in South Africa, and I'm not going to name names, I don't want to embarrass her, told me a story. This is wonderful, bright light, but she's got these issues of pain inside of her life. And I was just trying to encourage her and wondering what was going on, and she's wondering about her purpose in life. And you know, she's been raped repeatedly growing up. And you saw her, you wouldn't know it. You would never guess. Raped repeatedly. I mean repeatedly. And raped by her grandfather. Okay? And just to be clear, this is not a black girl. It's not something that happened in some tribal thing with townships. No, this is mainstream, successful. You never know. You never know. Highly successful. Raped by her grandfather. I think with knowledge of the grandmother. Abandoned by parents. For like 20 plus years, her and her family. Saw her sister be raped and killed by, add now, a black person, a black man. And was encouraged to hate and encouraged to self-poison. I think that disease is dis-ease. A lot of disease is dis-ease with yourself. And so over, 30 or 40 years, she's been abused by everybody she came across who took her weaknesses and used them as their suggested strengths. But God don't make dirt, and you can't fall from the floor, and rainbows only follow storms. You can't grow without legitimate suffering. And this person ended up adopting 20 plus young girls who have been raped. And because she could relate, right? And she loves them like they're her own, right? And one of the young girls is so I'm in South Africa, so you're gonna have a pause in the broadcasting sometimes. It's just the way it is in the country, but I'm back. So a lot of the children are black children that she has adopted. And some people say, well, how could you do that? How could you adopt a black child when your sister was killed by a black person? She said, that's just stupid. Ubuntu. I am me because you are you. Black people didn't do it to me. They're white murderers just like they're black murderers, right? This person who happened to be black did this to my sister, and I'm going to make a wrong a right. And so she's really changing the universe of energy here by putting love in the world where there's pain. And there's so many stories like that, so many narratives of how somebody's taken a bad thing and put a positive thing in its place. Some of you may not know that I was homeless for 6 months of my life. I may do a video just on this, but when I was 18, I was homeless for 6 months of my life. And you can't fall from the floor, God don't make dirt. You can't fall from the floor. I lost everything. Why? Not because of the white man or racism or whatever. I lost everything because I was believing too much in my own press. Because I was becoming impressed with myself, which is really insecurity. And, God don't make dirt. But he also, whatever goes around, comes around. And karma's real. And so I lost everything, and I should have. But I battled back. I battled my way back and lived in my Jeep for 6 months at La Tierra Airport. Anybody knows Los Angeles? La Tierra Airport. There's an old Italian restaurant. That parking lot was my home. People laughed at me, and they should have, because I was not a very nice person back then. But I decided I was going to come back, and it changed me, right? And that's why I'm an authenticity freak today. So you can not just get through your pain, you can make your pain your purpose. In fact, I don't think you can grow without legitimate suffering. Let me give you a definition of success and definition of failure. We're at 7 minutes, so I'll begin to wrap this up, and I'm going to add some questions here. Tony, my pleasure. Irish, my pleasure. Mark, thanks for joining. Shimsisa, I think I got that right. That sounds South African. Thanks for joining, so on and so forth. Thanks for being with us. If you have any questions, I will answer them here. Definition of success. Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Never, ever, 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 ever give up. President Lincoln, was a failure for most of his unsuccessful career. Lost his sweetheart, she died on him, and he lost basically a dog catcher. He lost everything. And people laughed at him. Became president of the United States, and arguably the best president we've ever had. Here's the definition of courage. You ready? Courage is nothing more than your faith reaching through your fear, displaying itself as action in your life. Courage is nothing more than your faith reaching through your fear, displaying itself as action in your life. We just had Easter, and we celebrated, the resurrection of Christ, without understanding really what that really meant. So what did Jesus Christ say? All right, Jesus Christ was being crucified, right? And yeah, he's the Son of God, all that kind of stuff for those who believe, Christians. By the way, he's mentioned in all religions, just to be clear. It's not a figment of anybody's imagination. He's mentioned in all religions, just people see him differently. But even though he's the Son of God, he was made in the image of man, had all our insecurities and our drama. So what did he say? He's being crucified. It's hurtful. It's really painful to him. He said, Lord, why have you, or I think his Father, why have you forsaken me? He might have said, Lord, why have you forsaken me? So even he was calling out his dad in the midst of all this purpose-built struggle, saying, man, this is too much for me. At the moment, I can't handle it. Why have you left me with these barbarians to be crucified? I'm being humiliated here. And in the middle of all this pain, in the crux of it, he said, not my will, but thine will be done. Translation, if you're asking me, I don't want to go, right? I don't want to be crucified on some cross between two criminals and de-dignified and take, everything I've got human stripped of me. But if you're not asking me, what do I sign? Perfect suffering. What do I sign? What did Dr. King say? If you don't know what you're willing to die for, you aren't fit to live. If you don't know what you're willing to die for, you aren't fit to live. Or as I would say, you don't know how long you're going to live, but you dang well know you're going to die. So you might as well get comfortable with the thought and the idea, right? And decide it's not about how long you live, but how well you live, how much substance you live. What is your legacy? What are you leaving here? So back to Jesus. So Jesus gets to, you know, the long arc of this crucifixion, and he says this: "Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they do." Oh my God. His last breath, his last thought was, "Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they do." He forgave them. He basically saying, you can't kill me, but I can freely offer my life. So my friend who went through that stuff, those little girls would not be who they are without her going through that, because now she's become their protector. Somebody who's hurt people can hurt people, or you can turn that pain into promise. So when you're going through pain in your life, when you're going through trials and tribulations, you've got a choice to make. Life is 10% what life does to you and 90% how you choose to respond to it. What's your response going to be? And make sure you respond and not react. Make sure you respond and not react. Okay, I've been lucky. In South Africa, we had a great connection, only one pause. I hope you guys got all this, and I hope this has been helpful to you. It looks like there's a lot of comments here. Mark Click says, amen. I think he's talking about Lincoln failed 13 times running for president. Well, I don't think he failed 13 times running for president, but he did fail at least 13 times. He failed at least twice running for president. Operation Hope is the program expanding into Ohio. Lloyd is asking that. Yes, we are expanding in Ohio. We are actually in Cleveland, Ohio with PNC Bank right now. A Hope Inside location in PNC Bank is operating right now. We're going to be operating in Columbus, in other parts of Ohio, and hopefully partnering with a big bank there. Can't name the name at the moment. In Ohio to expand soon. Hopefully, Lloyd, that answers your question. I think Dahlia joins and Claudia joins. Claudia says, I can relate to the woman, but I claimed love over hatred, which allowed me to positively move on. Perfect. Tony says, thank you for always sharing your wisdom. I appreciate that. Hopefully you're seeing there's not much I'm afraid to talk about. Is there a biography on me that we can read? You can go to read my bio at johnhopebryant.com. Sign up to the website. By the way, subscribe to this series. Go to volunteer at Operation Hope. Subscribe to get the free newsletters from Operation Hope and Brian Group, John Hope Bryant. You go to Brian Group Ventures to get my website. And Love Leadership is basically my biography at the moment. It's the formula for living if you're interested in that. Anithia Jasper says, thank you for inspiring words. Jonathan Hill, awesome message. Thank you. Mark, pain bursts passion. If you hurt bad enough to prosper in life, incredibly. If you hurt bad enough to prosper in life, incredibly. I think I read that properly. Yves, great message. Thank you very much for that. Sandy Jones joins. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. I'm going to do one more video for the day. The last one of these videos here about South Africa got over 120,000 views alone. Really touching a nerve about what's going on in this country and what it's going to take to turn it around. It's an incredible country. Everybody should visit here. Everybody should visit Africa. This is a place where everybody comes from. It's a place where the first person walked upright. We are all one. Everything else is an illusion. Love you much. I'm out. Peace.